No sirens, no declaration of war. Only silhouettes in tactical gear moving toward a narrow valley about 60 kilometers southeast of Isfahan, where the largest tank production facility of the Islamic Republic of Iran was operating at full capacity under the first light of dawn. 36 U.S. Army Rangers. The number had been reduced from the original plan after intelligence revealed something more concerning than expected. The defensive forces had been reinforced, and not just by Iranian soldiers. The faces seen in satellite imagery, their height, helmet style, the way they carried their rifles, looked strikingly similar to Russian military advisors. Had Moscow sent personnel to protect its investment? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Russia truly had people on the ground inside Iran? The night before, 3 helicopters flew extremely low, hugging rocky valleys to avoid radar, entering Iranian airspace from Iraq. No fighter escort, no carrier support, only darkness, pilot skill, and the cold calculation that if detected, the mission would fail completely. After landing in a barren zone 12 kilometers from the target, the 36 Rangers began their night approach, equipped with next-generation night vision systems. They did not speak. Communication consisted only of silent hand signals in the darkness. At 6:30 a.m., as the sun began rising behind the Zagros Mountains, the Rangers had already secured positions on the high ridges overlooking the valley below. The facility below was not built overnight. Constructed with covert technical assistance from China, according to intelligence reports leaked in late 2024, and equipped with machinery supplied from Russian defense factories through shell companies in Kazakhstan, the complex represented the symbol of a dangerous hidden alliance. 4 massive steel workshops, a final assembly hall, a test track for armored vehicles, and a central administration building that the CIA referred to as the digital heart, containing the designs, contracts, and production secrets Tehran never wanted the outside world to see. Intelligence estimates, around 80 guards, including several armed, foreign technical advisors. The tanks produced here were believed to be an upgraded variant based on the Russian T-90 chassis, integrated with Chinese fire control technology. If mass-produced, they could shift the balance of power across the Persian Gulf. Are you ready? Because this part happens fast. Exactly at 7:30, everything begins. Not with a loud explosion, but with silence. The silence of suppressed rifle shots from 4 Ranger snipers lying flat on the rocky ridge above. Within 40 seconds, 8 guards on watchtowers were eliminated. No alarms triggered. Swiss watch precision. Alpha Team detonated a directional charge at the main gate. The 5-centimeter steel door flew off its hinges like paper. Rangers poured inside in combat formation, neutralizing the first resistance positions in under 90 seconds. Bravo Team cut through the eastern fence and entered Workshop 1, where tank hulls were being welded and shaped. Inside was a space as large as a football field. Russian robotic welding arms hummed with electricity overhead. Approximately 25 workers and 8 guards. Within 4 minutes, the Rangers had full control. Charlie Team assaulted Workshop 2, the turret assembly line. This was the most sophisticated section. Chinese laser barrel alignment equipment, optical calibration systems, and fire control computers being programmed. Security was tighter here. 12 guards, including 2 later confirmed to carry foreign passports. The firefight in Workshop 2 lasted 7 minutes, the longest engagement of the entire operation. One Ranger was wounded in the shoulder when a gunman fired from behind a cluster of machinery. But eventually, the building was secured. Delta Team entered the final assembly hall, and this was the moment when even the most battle-hardened Rangers paused for a second. 9 tanks, standing in perfect formation, fresh paint gleaming, ready for delivery. Each one the product of hundreds of engineers and months of work. Each one capable of killing people on the battlefield. They stood there, silent and ominous beneath the yellow industrial lights. Sergeant First Class Marcus Webb, a 14-year Special Operations veteran, later said, "I didn't hate those tanks. I just knew my job was to make sure they never rolled onto a battlefield." While demolition teams began placing explosives, the Tactical Intelligence Unit moved into the administration building. What they found exceeded expectations. The servers were still running. All technical documentation, design schematics, fire control system specifications, and supplier lists connected to shell companies in Dubai and Istanbul were copied onto portable drives in 22 minutes. One document stunned the entire intelligence team. A contract signed in November 2024 between Iran's Ministry of Defense and a Chinese defense conglomerate. Estimated value, $2.3 billion. The deal covered next-generation thermal observation systems and armor-piercing ammunition. Iran was no longer acting alone. This was an alliance. Do you think this document could change U.S. policy toward China? Let us know in the comments. Geopolitical analysts are debating that very question right now. 9:30. All 36 Rangers withdrew to the ridgelines. Workers and captured soldiers were moved safely away from the blast zone. They were not the enemy of the moment, and the Americans wanted no additional civilian casualties. 10 o'clock sharp. The commander pressed the remote detonator. Workshop 1 exploded first. An orange fireball burst through the steel roof before the structure collapsed like crumpled paper. The blast echoed across the valley like thunder. Russian robotic welders worth tens of millions of dollars were buried beneath hundreds of tons of twisted steel. Workshop 2 detonated next. Chinese laser alignment equipment, technology Iran had spent years acquiring, shattered into fragments. The air smelled of burnt plastic and molten metal. The final assembly hall exploded last. When fuel and training shells inside the tanks ignited, flames shot tens of meters into the sky. $9 million tanks became 9 burning heaps of scrap metal in less than 3 minutes. The administration building collapsed last, but that was only the shell. The data inside had already been extracted. The Rangers stood on the mountainside watching the destruction below. No one spoke, only the wind, and secondary explosions rising from the valley. Staff Sergeant Diana Reyes, one of 4 women on the team, later said, "I didn't feel victory. I felt heavy, because I knew this wasn't the end. It never ends with just one fire." Exactly 12 noon. The helicopters appeared from the west, flying low through the valleys just as they had the night before. But this time, they carried soldiers who had completed their mission. Total operation time, 4.5 hours. U.S. casualties, 4 Rangers wounded, none killed. Iranian losses, about 30 soldiers neutralized, several captured, 9 battle tanks destroyed, 4 production facilities reduced to rubble, and a cache of intelligence data, possibly the most valuable prize of the entire mission. Tehran denied everything. Iranian state media reported nothing about the attack for the first 48 hours. But commercial satellite images from Planet Labs soon appeared on social media. And there was nothing to deny when smoke was still rising from the valley 3 days later. Beijing condemned the attack as a violation of sovereignty. Moscow called it a dangerous escalation. But both knew something else. The documents taken from those servers were now sitting on the desks of CIA analysts in Langley, Virginia. And the real question is not, can the United States do this? The real question is, what happens next? When an emerging alliance of 3 powers, Iran, China, and Russia, is increasingly bound together by weapons, money, and anti-Western ideology, even a bold raid like this is only one move on a much larger chessboard. Did this operation make the world safer, or did it simply push tensions to a new level, bringing major powers closer to a confrontation no one wants but everyone is preparing for. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. This isn't a question with a simple answer. It's a question history itself will answer. And you are living in the moment when that history is being written. If you found this story thought-provoking, share it with friends who follow geopolitics and global affairs.
Every share helps more people access independent perspectives. See you in the next episode.